Get well.
All right, we're now live. We'll see if some viewers jump on here. Um, First thing I want to do and remind everybody, which I'll remind later on, um, this coming Saturday is.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
no,
probably
hold on.
before,
Is it
but
this coming Saturday? Let me check the calendar here real quick. I might be wrong. I might be way off. Yeah, Saturday, October 6th, here in Waynesboro, Virginia, at the Waynesboro Public Library. I'm holding a local seminar. Um, so for all those who want to come out and participate in that, that'd be great. You're more than welcome. It's free, open to the public. If you've got a Bigfoot story, I want you to come out there. If you're not willing to share it publicly, I'll have some forms so you can fill them out. And Sam just messaged me. I got to send him an email invite. Let me put that in. Sam. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. What are you eating there, Baltimore? I hear you crunching.
M&M's.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, we got some viewers on here. I'm going to switch my phone over to the live chat so I can pay attention to the live chat. I'll go ahead and unplug my phone. It should be charged up enough. All right. All right. All right. Cool. Hey, everybody. For those who are on here viewing, please feel free to share this live feed around. That's much appreciated. And I'll be watching the live chat. If you guys have any questions at any time, we'll try to address them. Meanwhile, I want to ask Baltimore, what's been going on with you? You got anything new going on?
Nothing much. I just collected some old stories and stuff, and actually, I got a story where a school bus driver 15 years ago actually saw quote a big gorilla crossing the road.
Oh,
Right, and this was like 15 years ago, and way back when they didn't have anything to compare it to, that's the only thing that they would compare it to. So I got that story last week. Uh, and this week, I was talking to this lady, and they actually had an encounter with Bigfoot. It actually saw the back part of it, and that actually walked him off four legs and had his back towards her, and then stood up on two legs and walked over a bridge.
wow.
Yeah, and so she actually told me a story that was kind of fascinating, actually, dealing with a dog man, and that she was saying that she actually saw these creatures when they were actually camping when she was like around 7 8 years old. And what was very noticeable about these creatures were that they actually had a snout. And
Really?
yeah, so and then it got me thinking, and they have to be another type of species out there that exactly, people have big noses,
Right, right.
and then so what is it a big nose associated with the snout, So everything depends upon the species of uh, these creatures or these Bigfoots that we actually got roaming around here in South Texas. So.
Yeah, now that reminds me of, I can't think of him right offhand, but Nikki, are you
Yeah.
familiar, or maybe you might be too, Baltimore? I know I've heard people talk about what is it, the four types or the five types of different Bigfoots.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I can't remember how they defined it though. I know oh, what's his name? The JRG group or JR, what is it?
Um,
Oh gosh,
I,
what are their names?
hold on. I think I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of it.
Um wow, I completely blanked out. I know that guy though who does, he has a lot of podcasts. He's got a definition for each different subgroup, I guess he would call them. You know, he has the regular Bigfoots, and then he classifies the dog man as a type, and down the line. So gosh, what is his name again? Now I can't think of it.
Let me see if I can find something out real quick. I'm doing a. Well, I just did a Google. I entered in types of Bigfoot. Um,
Uh-huh.
there's one that says Bigfoot types, the North American variations by Sasquatch Chronicles. There's another one by I don't know who it's by. It says the 10 types of Bigfoot Sasquatch in North America. It's a YouTube thing. Then there's another one below that I'm seeing entitled the 4 different types of Sasquatch. It's a YouTube video by Sasquatch Central.
Oh, Will
Oh,
Jevning. It's Will Jevning.
oh,
That's who I'm thinking of.
okay.
Um his JRG Bigfoot Research Group. I know they've gone to it pretty well, and my brain is sleeping. I can't think of all four how he named them. Let me see. I'm looking on his site right now to see if I can find it real fast.
Yeah, there's one here. I'm not sure. Hold on, let me go through. Give, hold on, give me a second here. Yeah, on the live chat, Matthew Clee says, I believe the dog man is a birth defect of Bigfoot. You know, it's funny. We kind of talked about that before. That could be a very good possibility. Um, all right. There's a video I was going to try to play. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know how long. It's a 5 minute long video. I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing, but I thought maybe if I look it up, we might be able to listen to it together here.
Oh, I found the one from Sasquatch Central.
Yeah, is it the 4 different types of Sasquatch? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see what it says. Uh, uh, yeah, it is from Will Jevning and Tim Goonbo Baker. Uh, oh, but he doesn't list them on here.
Oh,
He's
he
it's
doesn't.
you, so you have to watch the video to get it.
Yeah. What I might try to do here, I could do a screen share, play the video, and I could play the audio through my mic on my headset. Um, Here we go.
And for the lack of any real terminology, species wise, we'll just call it.
Let me pause it for a sec so I can do a screen share. I started playing it, forgot I wasn't screen sharing it.
Yeah, this one's only 3 minutes long. Is that the one you have?
Um, well, the 3 minute long one, that's just the advertisement part. You got to skip that part. It's actually 5 minutes
Oh,
altogether. Yeah.
oh, okay.
All right, let me go back to the other screen here real quick.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
All right. It's not playing no audio right now, so maybe I'll get to the audio in a second. I'm assuming it's going to talk here in a little bit.
Okay, I found a description.
I think all it does is show this. I don't know if it talks any, and there's no
Oh,
audio.
well, you want me to explain it? Because it's off of that picture.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it explains that type 1 Bigfoot would be the patty type, the classic, what we consider the classic Sasquatch. You know, that cross between human and a mountain gorilla.
Yeah.
So, large, power, big build, broad chest, black hair or gray skin. But I guess it depends on your area because we've got colors in all different realms there, from browns to auburn, cinnamon,
Yeah.
and occasionally a few white. Um, so that's how they describe the type ones. With a flat face, prominent cheekbones, and square jaw. And they are claiming that the height average is about 7 10 to 12 feet, I guess, or 9 feet. Sorry, 9 feet, with about a 500 or 800 pound estimate. The t- the type two um, are reported. Let's see, especially in the South, as being bestial man like build with large pupil dilation, also in several different colors, but are very aggressive. Um, let's see, footprints seem very much like known primates, especially chimps, orangutans, or billy apes.
Hmm.
What else
I,
does it say?
I think I got audio. Hold on 1 second. I thought I did.
There's basically two major groupings,
Here we go.
and for the lack of any real terminology, species-wise, we'll just call it Group A and Group B. Group A has two subspecies, and Group B has two subspecies. So overall, there are four different kinds. The first grouping we have like the Patterson type, type 1 and type 4s. And in Group B, we have type 2s and type 3s, the ones with the canines, and the little, use all fours, things like that. And Coonbo could probably answer this better than me, but my guess from the reports, in your part of the country, it's probably more the type 2s that are prevalent.
You run into the what I call the type 2s, which look more like the Neanderthal. If you look in the book Them and Us, you run into more of them. That type. The nose is different, and they don't have the vertical slit pupils, and they certainly don't carry spears. But the body form and everything, the shape of the head and the posture and all that is about right in the Them and Us book. But you also have, in certain areas, you have the type 1s, which are the patty type, like you see in the Patterson-Gimlin film. And they can live right close to each other. And I don't know if they interbreed or not, but I figured if they did, they would probably have already wiped each other, the type distinctiveness out. So I think that they sort of keep the two different types keep to themselves. My theory, I'm just basing that on the fact that I grew up on a farm and around breeding dogs, breeding cattle, and hogs and such as that. And when you start mixing breeds and types and stuff, you get a meld of the two. Well, these two types are still separate, definite types. And now, on our farm, we typically have the type 1. Right down the road a little piece, you find the type 2s. Right over in northeastern Mississippi in Itawamba County, I can take you to a place, and if we're lucky enough, we can see some type 1s, and then literally 2 or 3 miles away as the crows flies, there are type 2s. And then there's also what I call a type 3, which is the sort of the wood-looking type, or the beast of LBL, or the beast of 7 shoots type. They have the canine type.
Describe this human-looking face. Yet.
Okay, I wanted to hit on that. When Kungo kind of was jumping in there, I wanted to clarify that a little bit more, because this goes back to when Bobby Short, who was a friend of mine, and I would used to talk about our individual encounters. And her encounter and my encounter described what we saw was completely different. And I could never reconcile that. And I knew she was being very straightforward. That was kind of gal she was. And being a good friend, I didn't want to argue with her, so I didn't. But I always kept in the back of my mind wondering, how is it that when she saw, she said the face looked human. The rest of it looked Sasquatch, the face looked human. And what I saw was not human at all. So when Mr. Black told me was that the type 4 has a very human-looking face. It's not, doesn't have hair on it, but the rest of the body does. It looks like a Sasquatch. So, and people have to understand, we get a lot of discrepancies in some of these accounts from one to another in description. And it's because most people really haven't keyed in on the fact that there are 4 different types. And if you can figure out which type, and it's pretty simple, some of these details like the type 1 and 4s are in the same major grouping, the same species grouping. They don't have canines. The type 1, the Patterson type, you look at the film, there it is. That's the type 1. The type 4 is similar. It's a little smaller. It's still a big creature, but it's not as big as the other 3 types. And the proportions, the arms and legs and things are a little more close to human type proportions. So I think if you were to describe the type 4, maybe the traditional Neanderthal look might be closest to that. And I think that's how people, when they say, well, it looks human, they're either seeing a type 4 or that's just what's in their vocabulary. That's the closest thing they can come to describing what it is they saw.
Well, there you go, guys. Did the audio play okay for on that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I could hear it.
All right, great. So, what do you guys think about that, though?
Nick, you want to go first?
I think it makes a lot of sense, actually. I've always thought that in different areas and geographical places that they were different. They evolved differently from the beginning. Maybe they all came from one spawn way in the early days, but I think over time they've all environmentally have changed for wherever they're at. So smaller in the southeast Florida area because it's marshy, and I think they probably adapted to that life, that skunk ape type. Also the Mississippi area, maybe bigger in Alaska, bigger in Canada. I don't know. I think it's quite possible they all look a little different everywhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you because everything's dealing with the terrain, and actually have the food supply that they need in order for them to develop a certain way.
Right.
Yeah, like Louisiana, Mississippi area, Florida area. You got your turtles, you got your alligators, you got your crustaceans and things like that. So they're probably a little bit small compared to the ones that we have up north. and also the ones that we have in South Central Texas.
Mm.
So yeah, everything depends upon the terrain. So
Hey, real quick, nah, not to cut anyone off. When you just reminded me of something. There's been a recent picture taken here in Virginia of a alligator during the rain and the storms in one of the local towns about 20 minutes from here. It was probably about 5 foot long. I don't know how it got here or where it came from, but there was an alligator. Someone photoed an alligator here in Virginia,
Wow.
yeah,
and they're not supposed to be up here, as far as I know. So, but somebody might have let it go or got loose somehow from something or somewhere. But don't know. There ain't no zoos around here that carries them anywhere nearby. So I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick. But yeah, Sam, what do you think about the four types that were just shared?
Well, can you hear me first off?
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
hear you real.
Okay. Um, I don't know. I probably differ a little bit from all you guys. I think that uh, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, different color and hair, size, all that, just as humans are. Um, but I don't, I can't really jump on board because you start getting into the second type with the Neanderthal look. Well, then Neanderthal, you start. I mean, then you start thinking, well, there's a Neanderthal. Then it's not Bigfoot. So, I have to stick to my guns. I think it's a relic hominid of Giganto, and it just it's just different color hair. Um, sizes, like you say. I think smaller ones are in areas that that are low lying areas such as Ohio. Agree with Nikki on the Alberta, Northwest. I think that's where the big boys roam. As well as I do in North Carolina and Tennessee. There's a lot of tall mountains. Um, but yeah, I can't totally jump on board with that, but that's just my opinion.
No, well, my opinion to what you said that makes a lot of sense, Sam, because I understand where you're coming from. But I think it mainly with what they're given is just mainly the description, and of course, I believe it's not safe. I believe it's safe to say that we're not. Or what they were sharing was not referring to what they actually are, but more of what they appear to be. If that makes any sense, because I know
Yeah,
there is people out there that'll say, well, I don't think he is this. I think, there's people that actually pretty much bluntly say what it is, and yet we have no proof of that. But so yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
but most of the sightings, like I was checking out a post the other day that somebody had compiled. It was like 36 photographs of eyewitness sightings, and what we just looked at there didn't look anything like except for the first one. And that, so I mean that's kind of that's just if you start getting into the, like they said, dogman type stuff, well then that's dogman type stuff. That's not Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, think about the description of Bigfoot having a snout. Think about, and again, this is not me. Well, this is me comparing Bigfoot to our known primates. And but then yet again, I'm not trying to equalize them either. But look at our known primates, our apes that we know, like the baboon. Baboon's very canine, and you know that's why I believe. Well, why can't Bigfoot be some kind of a type of ape, but yet of its own kind? I'm not saying they branched off of a baboon or a gorilla or a chimpanzee, but look at the different strains and breeds of apes, primates that we have. It's the same thing with humans. We got people from all different walks of life, races, and bloodlines. So, and just like every other known species, every known species has every whatever, like a horse, a zebra, a mule. All these species, a couple of these species are put together to make such things, but they're all the same bloodline.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not. Of course, don't get me wrong. I'm not, you know, stating that they are this or that, but but as far I'm just mainly going by appearance wise, right now.
Yeah, and again, who's really going to know till we actually, I hate to say it, but it's going to take a body. But hopefully, if a body is provided, that they will, do something to protect the species to where there cannot be another body taken.
Right, right.
There's an area that I totally am against. Everybody says we have to have a body in order for us to prove its existence. Not necessarily. I mean, we can get samples from here, possibly some blood samples, but we don't need to kill a Bigfoot in order for us to prove that this animal does exist. I mean, there's other methods of doing it. I mean, our species of man are smart enough to find out a certain way of doing it. Because let's say, for example, if there are maybe like 20 of these creatures still around, alive to this day, and then we're going to kill one who's going to be leaving 19 around just to prove that it's real. But to me, that's wrong. There's a lot of different ways to get our evidence to, by our footprints, eyewitness accounts. Even though the eyewitness accounts, a lot of people say, eyewitness accounts really don't prove nothing because they just saw something. But if somebody's actually reporting the scene, the same thing, 8 foot, 9 foot tall, hairy specimen, so that basically means there's something out there that we have to figure out what it is. That's why it's important for me is for me to get an information where a Bigfoot just finished crossing over. Maybe he left some hair samples behind, or a footprint, or something that he's been. Somebody actually saw him eat something, and actually get samples upon what he's been eating. Maybe I could get some DNA that way. But there's more than one way to get information and DNA from these creatures without killing them.
True, and I agree with you. So, like for me and you, Daniel, Nikki, that might be sufficient. But looking at a hair sample or a cast of a foot for the general public to accept, you can't look at a hair sample and see the physical whole, creature. So that's only what I'm saying there,
Right.
Baltimore, is, that what I'm saying is I'm afraid that's what it's going to take to prove to our to the public that this creature exists. For us, hair samples and all that, because we've been doing this so long,
Mm-hmm.
so we know, we're pretty up to date on what's going on. But for somebody like my father, or some people at work, they're going to have to see it with their own eyes, physically. I'm afraid that's what it's going to take, and I hate it too. I do.
Yeah, but here's where we come up differently, Sam. Is that is how we get our information. I know real well that there's sometimes where it's difficult to catch uh, these creatures, animals, whatever they are, on a trail cam.
Hmm.
Sometimes we have to think outside that box. Sometimes we had to get a little bit creative in order for us to, why put one trail cam? Why can you pour like 5 or 6 when they're around the area? They mess with our trail cams. Put something around there like barbed wire or something like that, where something could actually get caught. Their forearms get caught, or something like that, or maybe get cut a little bit, that we could actually get blood samples. Sometimes we just have to think outside that box in order for us to get the right picture, the right photo, the right shot. Look at that Patterson film. They only had a few seconds to take those photos, but they got it. But there's still hope out there that we can get it.
Yeah,
Oops.
I think he's breaking up.
Nikki, were
Am
you
I
trying
breaking
to?
up?
What?
Nikki, there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Were you trying to say something?
Oh no, I was just saying he was breaking up.
Okay.
I wasn't hearing everything he was saying, but I understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I fall probably in between Baltimore and Sam, because I I don't believe it doesn't matter what footprint you get, it doesn't matter what amount of hair you get. The hair samples are always going to come back contaminated, because there's going to be, if okay, if a Bigfoot or Sasquatch does have human DNA in it, well,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to come back human, and that's
Mm-hmm.
automatically, we're going to think it's been contaminated, because unless you have a video of grabbing the hair off of the sucker, there's no, the chain of evidence is lost. So unless you see a Bigfoot making the damn footprint, how, that footprint could be anything. It
Yeah.
could be a hoaxer, it could be a double bear stamp, it could be just a freak of nature. So that's, it's going to take a body for the world to
Right.
know that it's really true. Now, you have your knowers, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe a lot of knowers who have
Mm-hmm.
seen this, and that's what's made me become a believer. I want to believe that they're out there. I think it would be an awesome thing if they did exist, but I'm also a skeptic, because half the stuff that's out there is not real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you keep on chugging, and I don't have a whole lot of faith that we're gonna just, like somebody on here said, I think he was joking, but the tall ones, he says there's a 42% chance we will prove Bigfoot this year.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think he's joking, but there's not a chance. I don't think there's even a 1% chance. If there was, that's great. I'll always change my mind.
Yeah.
But uh there's
And
Oh,
that's
with
more.
just reality, though.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Nikki's
just.
just saying reality. That's 1% chance. She's right.
now with also with what she said too. I mean, it made a lot of sense. I understood it with everybody's input. You guys all, I agree with Baltimore. I agree with Sam,
Mm-hmm.
and I agree with Nikki. And and the one thing to share a part of what Nikki was saying too, it makes a lot of sense to me because yeah, we could have hair sample, and she laid out illustration. If it comes back human, then then we're regardless if it's contaminated or not, we're getting nowhere. Um, so say for example, it comes back as unknown. It doesn't match anything in the database records. Well, okay, where we can't science is not going to say, well, okay, guys, we got Bigfoot. You know, because
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah.
science is very objective. Anybody who understands science is very mainstream objective on a lot of stuff, not just Bigfoot, but with their own work. And the thing is, what they're going to tell you is, and so forth, and it goes for all those Melba Ketchum cult followers that believe that she
Hmm.
had the real shit, which that's a big joke. Melba Ketchum is a joke. Sorry, that's in a true story. But
You know, I
oh,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, you know what's really missing in the entire of the Bigfoot community in general is that we've forgotten to have fun. We've forgotten to go out there and have fun. Go out camping, go out with your family, do the research, do whatever you want to do, but don't ever forget that, that being out in the wilderness is something that is great. There's a lot of people who don't get that chance to do that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
And I think we miss the whole point of being out there sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And um,
Good
and we shouldn't
point.
take it so seriously. We shouldn't, there will never be any experts, and that's okay. We
Mm-hmm.
should all have an opinion about this, and that's okay too. And because that's what I love about it. That's what I loved about reading. Because I right now I am an armchair researcher. I do read a lot, and I follow a lot of people, and I watch all their damn videos, and I critique them because that's what I want to do. Because right now I can't get out there, but I have, and I know what it's about, and I
Well,
wish I could do it more. But I think as a whole, we when we all come together, we're much stronger as a group.
Absolutely. And with what you said about yourself, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're doing with what's within your capability.
Right.
And you know what? And like I've told people before, we need our armchair researchers because they're not. Not all of us always get time or have the time to go in there, sit down, take time at home when they're trying to spend time with their families to go in there to do their research and to look things up, to understand certain things. A lot of us get out in the field. Like, look, if anyone who's watched my field video that I posted earlier today, exactly what in the video I stated, and I've done it in other videos. Exactly what Nikki said. Go out there and enjoy it, because that's one thing I say when I'm out there. You can see me enjoying myself out there, hiking, crossing the streams. I got my feet soaking wet like multiple times. I crossed that stream because the water's high flowing up there. The forest roads are washed out. But I went into one area where I've had activity and found things before. I enjoy crossing the creek, jumping, get my feet wet. Yeah, it's kind of miserable for a little while, but the main thing is I'm out there enjoying myself. Just being out there, looking around, taking it all in, and hoping I do see something. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's very very important to enjoy yourself while you're out there. Know why you're out there. Because one of the things I said early in the video was like, I'm not Bigfooting. I'm out here taking it all in and enjoying it. That's part of what I said in the video. Because I'm in there I'm on top of the forest road looking. I'm at somewhat of a high peak. You can see the higher mountain ridges all around you, and I love it. That's what I go out there for. Because it really does take stress away.
It does. It does.
So, but so yeah,
You got
go
any
ahead, Nate.
questions on the? You got any questions on the live chat? I can't see it.
There is one by Casey Keller, referring to the four types we were talking about earlier. Are the four different kinds of Bigfoot in America different species? And before we answer that, they go on to say the reason I ask is because of the feet. Some have gorilla type feet, and some have feet and toes like humans. That's a good question. Who wants to attack that one first?
Not me.
Not me.
So hold on. So state the first part again.
All right, are the different kinds of Bigfoot in America different species?
Okay. Well, I don't think so.
All right, because
Yeah,
again, on the second part of that, the reason they asked that is because of the feet. You know, yeah, I mean, I think I understand what they're getting at, because look at the different various casts that have, like what some of them look deformed, some of them
right.
looked
Well,
awkward,
see,
and
see, the thing is, also too, you have to take a look at the terrain.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have like rocky terrains out there.
Mhm.
So that's one thing also, because right down here in South Central Texas, we have a lot of sandy loam here. And then if you go up to San Antonio area, up north there, you got the Guadalupe Mountains, and then that's a different type of terrain. I mean, everything depends upon the terrain. The terrain is everything to these creatures, or Bigfoot, or whatever you want to call these specimens. But basically, the terrain is the most important thing of what they eat or what they drink, or basically, never in my wildest dreams did I ever thought that Bigfoot would be down here in South Texas, where the temperatures would be like around 112 degrees out there, 110 out there, with full hair, thinking that there would be should be a lot up there where it's a lot cooler, but they're here. Uh,
yeah,
See, the thing is, again, he does not bother them like humans. He goes, there's some heat that don't bother us, and there's some people that bother about from the heat. So to me, that's what a little human. That's to me, they're a lot human-like. Different species of Bigfoot. I can't see. We all have different species of man, and then I cannot see why they cannot be different species of Bigfoot, because we just don't know.
right, yeah, because in some cases, some I know humans have been known to have what they call the club foot, which is I forget the reason behind that, or if it's a type of some kind of rare deformity. Um, then again, yeah, I agree with you on the terrain. Also, sometimes I believe sometimes feet structure develops if they ever have an injury yet, at a young age, and it heals a certain way too. Sometimes.
Yeah, Dr. Jeff Meldrum actually. I was watching a video or a documentary he was in a couple nights ago, and he was exclusively talking about his cast collection that he has, and he had came across one of the casts that he believed that he had two casts of where this creature had walked, and on the right one he thought it had a deformity, on the outside of the foot. So yeah, I mean, what if one of these creatures breaks its toe, or God forbid, cuts one off? And then there was reports. I think it's the Fook monster had four
The three,
toes
yeah, I
or
think
something
three
like
toes.
that. Yeah, or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. So who knows?
Hmm.
Hey, Daniel,
Yeah.
Lillian had an interesting something to say about the matter.
Oh yeah, please do. Absolutely.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. As far as the species thing is concerned, there isn't any reason that they can't be different species. You have to think of it the same way you think of bears, say. It's the same genus, but it's
Yeah.
different species depending on where they live in the United States, because you've got your grizzlies, your black bears, brown bears, polar bears, all of these others. It's the same genus, but it's a different species. There isn't
Absolutely.
any reason that Bigfoot could not have done the same thing.
Right. Oh, I agree 100% because, well, like I mentioned earlier, just like look at the horses.
Yeah.
I don't know what category they fall in. They're like, look, or cats or dogs. You got canines,
Yep.
felines. Oh, look at all the different strains of species that we have of all them. You know, so I think that's very logical to understand or to look at it that way. You know,
Yep.
and is it in your opinion, is it safe to say that we may have these different strains or different species of them? It doesn't make them a different being altogether. It's just they're all
No,
the same but different strains, right?
exactly.
Okay,
It
yeah. See,
doesn't
that makes
make them
sense.
any different than a black bear and a brown bear and a grizzly bear are different in the window dressing, if you will. They're all still bears. The only thing that really makes them different is where they live and the characteristics their physicality took on to deal with where they live.
Right.
I'm thinking Bigfoot is probably the same thing. I mean, the longer, coarser, kind of thin hair that we saw on that arm picture that Baldy and I have doesn't match some of the pictures that we've seen of the thicker, heavier hair of the stuff from the Northwest. But that would make sense. They're not going to need that kind of protection for the weather here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, because another thing to look at there too, another illustration is look at us humans. We have Asians, they appear different, but they're still human.
Yep.
Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, whatever you know, bloodline, but they're all we're all humans, but so
Exactly. And
yeah,
each of our skin colors, all of the skin tones were based on the amount of sunlight and UV rays that needed to be absorbed in the different places of the world. I mean, Caucasians came about because they were in Europe. We needed the light skin to be able to soak up more UV rays than anybody did down in Africa and across the Central America, which is why you get the darker skin tones, because they don't need to soak up as much UV rays. The sun is just too powerful.
right.
So it's just a matter of what our genetics have done over the centuries. I mean, study Darwin.
Yeah, yeah. You said Darwin.
Yes.
Yeah, I've actually done some research with him, or about him. No, I
Yeah.
shouldn't say with him. But yeah, that's the thing. I've looked into the evolutionary theory, but yeah, I have different viewpoints when it comes to that. So um,
I this whole thing a little more scientifically than Balde does. Um, that's what my background is in, and to me, a lot of the things that baffle some researchers and some people asking questions, to me, it's like, you know what, if you look at animal behavior, it's going to explain a lot. Because in essence, even though these creatures are probably just as intelligent as we are, well, hell, there's other animals on the planet that are just as intelligent as we are.
oh yeah,
You know, we're all still animals, and we're all still going to react in certain ways. I mean, it's just the way the world works.
absolutely. I see we lost Nikki. Oh, she said she lost internet. Okay, she's on the live chat. Um, okay, there's something that just popped up. Yeah, when Nikki gets back on here, I'm gonna put Nikki on the spot. I need to see what she says because there's something she said on the live chat that struck me as she's. It's. I need to question her about something when she gets back on here. So, Sam, you have anything you want to share?
Not at the present moment. Well, I mean, we've got the Wood Booger Festival, weekly reminder of that, coming up this weekend, Norton, Virginia, October 5th and 6th. That'll be a lot of fun. And then Tennessee Bigfoot Conference on October 19th and 20th. Looking forward to meeting the She Squatchers for the first time. That'll be kind of neat.
Ooh, we had another interesting question from Casey Keller. I'm gonna read this one. You guys tell me what you guys think about this one. Is it possible that Bigfoot bred with the gorillas that were turned loose in the 70s and 80s in Florida and survived to make a new breed?
No. No.
Yeah, I didn't even know nothing about them being turned loose in the 70s, and I didn't know nothing about that one anyway. So
No.
no.
I mean, we have been seeing, we've been hearing a lot of legends and stories about Bigfoot for hundreds of years, and
Yeah.
it doesn't, to me, doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Because because people have been describing stuff for years, for hundreds of years,
Yeah.
and being a gorilla introducing to these things here, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
with
you.
Baltimore. Yep.
Yeah, because there's too much history,
Yeah.
documentation that dates way back when, even pre Columbus times. Nikki, I gotta ask you. There's
What?
something I saw you said on the live chat.
What? It was a joke.
Oh, okay. So
I
I
don't
should
know.
I shouldn't ask it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You said the Patty in the footage was a man in a suit.
Well, that's because the guy in front, okay, he made a comment about Patty. And he was explaining how the one he saw was on all fours and then got up and walked. And he says, I can't see Patty doing that. So I was being a smartass and I said, well, because Patty was a man in a suit. But I don't
Okay.
know. If I was to pick, the Patty footage is one of the best I've seen because I don't see all that loose skin. Like, when it's a suit, you see the loose skin. It's not muscle. And on
Yeah.
Patty, you don't see that. That's where I think it's real. But I
I
still
gotcha.
have my doubts. I still have things about that Patty footage that I don't like.
And that's why you'll never meet Bob Gimlin. I'm just picking with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's the sweetest. I don't care if he's lying or not. I think
I know.
he's the
I'm just
sweetest
picking.
man. He seems like the sweetest guy. I just I hope I do get to meet him one day. But anyway, that's what that was all about. You had to read the whole thing in context, okay?
I got you. Yeah. I just happened to randomly look down and said, "What's she saying? What's that about?" It's like you dropped off here to say that or something. I don't
Oh
know.
God. It all happened at the same time. I lost the internet on my tablet, but I'm on my phone watching the chat. So that's why I was still on there.
Gotcha. Um. All right, hold on here. Let me back up a little bit, see if I missed anything. Nah, I think we've been covering everything pretty good here so far. So yeah, I think we've been staying on point with everything. That's good. So, um, hmm.
Oh, he does mention the tall one again. Who is that? I want to know who that is. He says he thinks the Freeman footage is a hoax.
Oh, I saw that.
The
What is
Paul
your thoughts
Freeman.
on that? Yeah,
Is
the
that
Yeah,
Paul.
let me take that. Let me take that.
Okay, go.
Because personally, the Paul Freeman footage for me is my favorite. I just, you know, for me, the way that this creature kind of walks and it brushes up against the tree, I think if it was going to be a hoax, you would try to avoid that tree. It stops and looks. It's not really scared. Maybe a slight concern, but not really. It's almost, like I'm going on about my business.
Right.
I believe it more than I do Patty, but now it's just my opinion again. But
I don't think
Well,
I've seen that
I
one.
oh, you got to see that one. You got to
yeah, I
see that
like
one,
it.
Baltimore. I loved it. Now, then there was all the controversy that he had faked the footprints, but they came out later, his son and everybody saying that he had made tracks himself to prove the difference between what he was seeing and what fake ones would look like. And because he had done that, people got the impression that he was faking Bigfoot prints all over.
Hmm. I didn't know
So
that.
that made me turn to like, oh, okay, well, that could make sense in that situation because I liked the way that Bigfoot looked too. And I
Yeah.
liked how clear it was. It wasn't any, you know, it wasn't blurry. It wasn't, what do we call it? Stump squatch or anything like that. It was a clear
Right.
Bigfoot walking by a tree. And I don't agree with the way MK Davis took it. And then was it MK or somebody saying that it picks up a baby or wanted to pick up a baby or something to
Oh,
that effect?
Yeah.
yeah. I think you're thinking about the other one. This is the Freeman footage right here. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
Right.
yeah, no, I know. But they also, there's another thing about the Freeman that it was trying to lead us away or something like that from a baby. There's been so many different things, but I don't agree with all that. I just think it was the one walking straight through.
Well, okay, okay. Let me see this one here.
And I
Yeah, I
like
don't.
his reaction. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
um
It's very
I
natural.
think yeah, it was natural and I think it wasn't made up. Cuz how do you know you would react when you would really see one, you know? I think everybody's going to react different. Some are going to be like, "Oh shit," and get the hell out, and some are going to
Mm-hmm.
be, you know, there it is. I'm going to chase it just like he said.
Ma'am, I
Cuz
tell you
he
what. Speaking, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Speaking for experience, when I saw mine, it totally freaked me out. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to get another view of it. And I mean, it went so clearly. And then there was a pipeline, and I said, man, I got to go down to this pipeline and check if I could see across the road or something. I want to see it one more time to see what this thing is. And it never ever went towards that pipeline or nothing because I mean this thing was super fast. So and then the thing is again, once you and then your mind starts playing tricks on you. Did you actually see this or what is it? And your mind does something to you there in that spot, and
Right.
there you go. Did you actually see what you just been seeing? So so if there wasn't anybody with me there, then I would have probably said it was a freak of my imagination. But we both concurred and said, "What in the world was that?" Because well, I don't know. So the only thing that was left behind was that real strong musky smell, and I never smelled nothing like that before in my life.
Yeah.
But it does something to you. It does something to you if you actually seen it for the first time.
Now I know they're showing the tracks and the cast of the Meg. I'm wondering if they're gonna actually. I'm assuming they're gonna show the footage of it moving.
This is when he's down at the creek and he's saying in the video, they're coming down here to drink at this creek. There's some prints right here. It's a little bit after this, probably 2 minutes, maybe.
This is the long one. Yeah, the
Yeah.
long version.
Oh, okay. See, I
Because
haven't seen all this before. I've only
yeah,
seen the video of it moving.
this was his proof that he had been down there just videotaping footprints and stuff. When he just happens to follow the trail all the way up and thing walks in front of him.
Wow. See, I'm pretty sure that y'all heard that story that I always said about me and that tree and the tree getting knocked down. I'm pretty sure you heard about that one, Nikki.
I think so. Refresh my memory.
I came up and I was actually throwing apples and horse treats that smelled like apples everywhere. And then this one particular day, I came up there and I brought got my camera and started taking pictures of hogs and deer and things like that. There was a deer that actually had a cut in her ear. I called her Slash. And then so the next day, I came up there to go photograph some more of the deer and the wild animals and stuff. And then all of a sudden, that day was silence. I didn't hear nothing. And you couldn't even hear nothing chirping or anything like that. There was a little squirrel that always went by, and I didn't even see it. And then I heard a deep breathing sound, that I've never heard before in my life. So I went down the tree, and then the deep breathing sound stopped. So when I went back up the tree, I thought that, oh, that's the figure in your imagination. So when I went back up the tree and I sat down, and the deep breathing
Here it is.
stopped.
Here it is. Right here. Sorry, Baltimore. It's going to walk in front of that pine tree in the back, right there. You see it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll show it some more here in a little bit. There it goes.
Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
That's
didn't
all
want
right,
you to
man.
miss it.
That's okay.
And then supposedly he pans around right here, and this is where I think Nikki says that supposedly it picks up another one right in here somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's walking away, right? No, it was out there on the right.
There is a video of the stabilization.
Yeah.
And it's shorter and it's zoomed in a little bit. It's just a lot better.
No, I know this was taken back in 1995. Oh, there it is, right there.
There it is, yeah, right in the middle. And I mean, he's staying a good distance away from this thing. It's not like he's,
right up on it,
running upon it. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't, if I was out there filming something like this too, my first reaction would be like, oh snap. And then I would be kind of scared more than anything. I mean, Look at the size of that thing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, for those who may be looking at this video footage and seeing it's distorted, I personally could tell you, depending on, I don't know what kind of device was used to film this, but a lot of times uploading videos to YouTube will create and cause more distortion.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on how you have your YouTube setting. So, I don't know. The original footage may be a lot clearer than this. Yeah, it's a little shaky. So, so the people got to keep in mind, when you upload videos to YouTube, it does create and cause some distortion. Like the video I put up today, all those video clippings I put together to make that one film, that was used off of my phone. And now if I had used my camcorder, if I had, my camcorder was charged up and I had a SD card in that,
right,
I could have had high def clear video footage today just from being out in the woods. But my phone, yeah, it depends on the device and how it's uploaded. So, and of course, keep it back in 95, they didn't probably have high def back then.
Right. Daniel, do you have that photo of that arm of a Bigfoot I sent you? The red one?
I probably do if I look it up. It's probably under your messenger if I pull it up on the photos.
Okay, because I talked to that lady and she said it was fine to share it. And
Oh,
would you mind
okay.
putting it up and checking what they think, giving an opinion what they think of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like
Let
that,
me go ahead.
and
Let
like
me
that,
go under your.
yes, yeah.
See if I can find it here. Give me a second. Let me go through my phone. Real quick, while I am looking for that, I'm going to address another question on the live chat and let you guys discuss it while I'm looking this up. Um, Big Racer is asking, why do some prints look different from the surrounding soil? Like it's placed there, just an observation.
Terrain. This is
Abs-
every. Yeah, that's the best answer to give you. Terrain. You know,
Absolutely.
Arizona and all these other places have different type of soil. South Texas have different type of soil. Everything up north have different types of soil. Everything depends. Even your area, Daniel, has different types of soil.
Oh,
Everything
yeah.
on the terrain. You know,
Yeah.
And
also to a long time ago. You know, and they still do it to this day. They still trap. You know, I wouldn't be too surprised if some Bigfoot would have lost a toe from a steel trap. So,
Yeah.
where these particular, if he's talking about the Freeman footage and those footprints, those were going up a hill. They were
Hmm.
actually at an angle, so you wouldn't have all of them wouldn't have gotten. You would have just had some toe prints, the front part, the ball of the foot to the toe, possibly. And I know it had rained there previously because he had been. He I think he talks about mud or something in one of it, somewhere in the video. But that's just my recollection. I haven't watched it in quite a long time.
Well, I'll tell you what, Baltimore hit the nail on the head because and that also goes for the very same situation when people ask. A lot of times, you know how people most very commonly find a single track. You don't always, you're not always fortunate to find a trackway. Well, long time ago, several years ago, I had made a video, and making a good point. I found a nice bear track, and it was in a opening, a clearway, which is a kind of like a power line area. And I was like, "Oh, cool! Look at that's a decent sized bear track." And I go to look for more, and I was like, "Wait a minute! There's only one here. I know we don't have a 1 foot or one paw bear here." And it dawned on me. I said, "No wonder why." I said, "Look, I'm leaving a print here, but if I step over here, I'm not leaving a print.
Hmm.
Terrain, soil, just like Baltimore said. Because you might have soft ground here, you might have solid ground here. You know, so that's a very good reason. Because we're not always fortunate. I have found short trackways before. Um, but then of course the trackways seem like they disappear. It's because again the soil and the terrain changes. It's not going to always be the same anywhere from a foot to 2 foot to 10 foot, 20 foot away. So um, Baltimore, I was looking under all the photos you sent me. Did you? And I
I'll
cannot
tell you
find.
what. I'll tell you what. Let me go send you. Let me go send you another one.
Yeah,
All
send it.
right.
Yeah, send it to Messenger because all the photos I've had from between me and you sent to each other should be under your Messenger, and I'm not finding it.
Hey guys, I've got to work in the morning, so I'm gonna have to cut off here. But this was a great conversation tonight, and I
Yeah, it
appreciate
was.
each and every one of you all tonight.
Oh,
Thank you
absolutely.
for.
Yeah, thanks for coming
Thanks.
on, Sam. You'll have to join us more often.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Thank you, Baltimore, Nikki, and you all have
Yeah.
a wonderful evening. Okay.
You too. Good
Sounds good.
night.
All right,
all right.
guys.
Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Let's see. Let me look back on their YouTube here because I was looking under a different site.
You know, I'm computer illiterate, so I send you. I just now send you a photo, Daniel.
Oh yeah, no, no, that's fine. Uh, Nikki, what's the tall one referring to? He asked you about what you think of the brown thermal footage from Washington State. Which one would he be referring to? I'm not. Well, actually, I'm not familiar with that one.
Is that the one where the creatures? It's the thermal that goes from left to right, and you can see it moving its hand. Um, they
Oh,
did it. They did it on Finding Bigfoot. They went out there and
oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, he said with the cows.
oh, oh, the cow one.
The,
No, I don't think that was a Bigfoot at all. I think that was a cow. In fact, I think it's two cows, and one of them has their butt facing the big tree that was down.
yeah.
That's what that. Yeah, that one I do not believe. No.
Oh, okay. Because he made sure he specified not the Stacy
Oh,
Brown one.
oh, okay. I
Yeah.
just saw brown and I went for it. Okay, yeah, no, the cow ones, and then there's just cows walking by. I don't think if a creature that big would be that familiar with cows. Number one,
Yeah.
I just don't think they're just buddies. So, yeah, to me, see movement. To me, I saw movement, and people say they don't see it moving, but if you take it and if you think of it as two different animals that are almost lined up facing that camera, um, when you have that thermal, it blends that heat signature. Okay. So
yeah.
it's very hard. But to me, I can totally think of it as one butt and one face heading this way, but they're kind of melded.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, it's just the cow laying on the other side. Now, their stipulation is that on the other side of that log was a big old ditch. But I think there's enough room for a cow to be on the other side before they hit that ditch down. So,
Yeah.
but again, that's my opinion. I wasn't there. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Here you go, Baltimore. I got you now. That's why I couldn't find it on Messenger because you send it through text. I got you. All right. All right. Here. What I'll do, I'll send it to your Messenger. That way I can pull them up
Okay.
on the
And then there was another photo that I sent you one that looked like a forehead.
um. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Right. Whoops. Pulled up the wrong Messenger. I pulled up. There we go. All right. Let me come back here and I'll do a screen share. I'll pull that up of this. There we go.
There you go.
And then I'm gonna go back to the main because I did a screenshot of that on their my text message, and because what I did two of them. I did this one here, and I enlarged it a little bit on the second picture.
Great.
But
What area? Where was this taken?
This is Beeville, Texas, in a this area right down here is called the Old Houston Highway,
Yeah.
and down out there is actually a big creek that's down there, and this was taken last year. Last year, I believe it was. There's dates there on there where it was taken at. There was another photo that was taken, and it is I'm I'm still looking at it. It looks like a forehead actually, but it was so super close. And the back on this here, you could actually see the deer feeder in the back, and this thing was actually in front of it. It looks like an armpit or an arm.
like the underhang of arm, yeah,
So
Well, it's only one of two things. It's either a Bigfoot or it's an elk or elk. You know how the elk has the neck
right,
hair?
right. See, and there's no elks in South Central Texas, so we have no bear. We have the area that this area right up here. Only thing that she has on it is they're goats, but they are pinned up.
I don't
So
see that as a goat for sure. Not a
no.
goat.
so
But
but what
why
was
would a deer be just standing there?
Oh, that's not. I don't. Yeah, that's not no deer.
What is that?
That's that there is definitely you could the color that we're seeing. I believe is very accurate. It's a reddish brown color.
Well, no, I mean those 2 feet in the back.
That is parts of the deer feeder.
Oh, the feeder.
Yes,
I
sir.
thought you
Yeah, I mean,
said
yes, ma'am.
deer, and I can't see because it looks so small.
Yeah, that's a deer feeder, and
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
and I actually walked it. I actually walked it a couple of weeks ago,
What's wrong
trying
one?
to get some more, trying to get the picture of the terrain there, but it was just
Okay, now I
fast.
see it. Good.
And now it's just fascinating. Um, you know, I was thinking possibly a squirrel, or I was thinking everything that could possibly
Huh.
be, but
Squirrel.
there's nothing.
No.
Because our squirrels over here have
No.
uh, reddish, white and black into them and stuff like that. It
Yeah,
could be a squirrel. You could see the
No,
natting
no
on the
think so.
hair. Couldn't be that.
that
Um,
yeah
That's
that
really
don't
interesting. Hmm.
yeah because yeah I feel comfortable ruling out a squirrel
Yeah, me too.
because their
Um,
hair if that was a squirrel the hair would be more like flattened, more
right,
tighter. Yeah,
I
because
mean,
that's
we
yeah,
have kaibab squirrels. Well, in Arizona, we have kaibab squirrels, and they are big, red, bushy things like that. But it still looks different than that. You're right. It's
right,
only the tail that would be maybe close
exactly,
to that, maybe, but it's not formed in the right way. It wouldn't look hanging
yeah,
straight down like that unless it was on the tree and maybe the tail was hanging down.
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so the camera is just there. It's positioned just perfect, and I have no explanation for it.
And
There has been some activity on the other creeks and everything like that around the
Hmm.
area. So, I mean, you could even see on the left top corner that real natted thing, real dark there.
Yep.
That uh, there's no explanation for it. I mean, he has no horses, no cattle, no nothing. 14 acres of land. All he has is a feeder and a blind.
and
And
how
sir,
how tall? I know I asked you before, but how tall was the camera setting from off the ground?
Oh,
not like around 5, 6 feet off the ground.
Okay, yeah, about average height. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because I know when I set my trail cameras out, like the two I have set out in the woods right now, they've been out there for over a month now. But they're it depends on the what I've had mine. I have one sitting about only 2 feet on 2 feet from the ground, on the tree. The other one's about maybe 4 or 5 feet high, but because I know I like to have. Sometimes I experiment. I usually average my cameras. I normally set them about 5, 6. Sometimes I reach up to almost 7 feet. But
right.
sometimes I'm trying something different. I'm trying to set them a little lower this time. And 'cause especially the way if you saw the layout of the land and the terrain, you'll see why I kind of had them set kind of low. So,
Right.
but because I mainly have mine set low because it's right in front of where I plan on hunting. Here soon. So I'm just trying to get a layout and pick up the patterns of the deer and see how they're moving. But then again, you never know. My fingers are crossed. It'd be awesome to get something good on there. Because
Hey, Daniel,
that's
would you
huh.
happen to have that other photo about the forehead that I sent you there?
No, send that one to me through. If you can
Oh
pull
yeah,
that up.
I was trying to find it, but I cannot find it on my page. I gotta go talk to that lady again.
Tell you
And
what, if you sent it through Messenger, let me go through. Let me see if I can run through and see if I can find it under your.
see under, I'm gonna tell you about this terrain here. We just had a big old rainstorm, um, and we probably had maybe like around 3 to 4 inches of rain, and you could actually see how the water traveled and everything.
Yeah,
Uh, found some a dead found some dead hogs down there, uh, dead dead deer, but to me, I think they were dead by natural causes, or a hunter might have shot it. Uh,
yeah,
but that's the kind of stuff. See, when you were talking earlier about going to the woods and having fun, I go look for old bottles. I go look for mushrooms, like something out of the ordinary that I've never seen before. I get my camera and I photograph it. If it's something that I haven't seen before, so I'll photograph it, and I'll take it to a friend of mine that's actually a scientist, and so like that, and to figure out what it is. You know, my eyes are always open out there. If I find something out of the ordinary that people have never seen before, you know, I found
Yeah.
like sheep frogs. I found uh, real old bird bands from the 1950s and things like that. Something on the ordinary that people actually forgot was what are actually out there. I mean, you go over in the woods and you just have fun, you know, looking for these things. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm going through. I went through every message. I scrolled all the way through, and I didn't see any of those.
Okay. Let me. I'm going to look around here in my book, and I'm going to send you another photo, Daniel,
Okay.
and you can put this up, and I want you to shoot. I just and I want you to. And I did not. I could not call this a Bigfoot, and and um, and you tell me what it is.
This should be interesting.
And then so the thing is, and you could actually see something behind the tree, and there's a deer there, this and I had to debunk that and saying that it wasn't a Bigfoot. And this was taken 2017.
All right, hold on. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna do a screenshot, and then I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. You okay? You talking about that?
Thing
Some,
behind the tree,
yeah,
the deer looking at it. So, and it looks like something that's there, but I could not definitely call it a Bigfoot. I think it's a smear to the camera. I don't know because of the way the deer is acting.
yeah. Because the deer, I just from looking at that photo, the deer does appear to like something got its attention.
Right. But I would have to debunk it. But you actually, once you look at it, you could actually see something behind that tree, and you could actually see the head and the mouth, and actually like a shoulder. But I would have to debunk it because I'm not 100% sure what it is. I'm thinking it could be the Flash, or I don't know. But I had to debunk it and said, no, that's not one.
All right, let me see if let me go pull that up. All right, they haven't uploaded yet. Oh, actually, yeah, they did. All right, let me go ahead and pull this up for a screen share. All right, here we go. Now, this particular image right here, as far as the deer's looking at something, but this right here, you see where my mouse is? This is what you were talking about right here, right?
Exactly.
Um, I know closer in, like you can see some layers right here, but
Right.
that's, you know,
Yeah, what he did was he actually took a picture of his computer,
yeah,
and then those things that you see there are the from his computer.
right.
And then so he goes, I want you to take a look at this and tell me what you think. And I said, well, I can't. I don't. I would say no because the way that he took the photo and everything like that. But you could actually see that there's something there. But I no way. I have to say no.
Yeah, it's definitely inconclusive. I can't say on anything what it could be because
Exactly.
Looks like a
maybe,
raccoon
So
face to
once
me.
I have photos like that and
yeah, because I mean, even though it's inconclusive, yeah, could it, yeah, like Nikki said, maybe a raccoon. It could be something on a tree limb up there.
Yeah, but
Could
I
be.
just have to say no.
See the face down there with the two black eyes? And then,
Oh yeah, you talking about all this?
yeah, right
It does
there.
look like that, don't it? But also, I'm looking at maybe this could be an owl, where this is the back of it right here too. But
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I looked at and then and I was going, no way, it can't. You know, and I looked at it. I said, no, as it's something else. Whatever, but that's not a Bigfoot. So you have to tell him, it's inconclusive. Like you said, it could be a raccoon, it could be an owl, but I'm not 100% sure what it is. So that's when in doubt, throw it out.
right,
Yeah, I think if it was a Bigfoot, we'd see something a little further down because
Exactly.
those trees aren't that thick. Look at the neck of the little deer there.
Exactly.
It's not that thick. Anything of that tall would have some size to it, at least a little bit.
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So maybe a little bit more in the chest area or more
Something, yeah.
something. Yeah. And then so he showed it to me. He goes, I goes, I don't know what this is. He goes, you know what, dude? He goes, I don't know what it is either. It's not a good photo. You took it in front of your laptop, and I just have to rule it out because the way the deer is acting, I just have
Yeah.
to rule it out. So yeah. So I just want to show you stuff that I come across all the time,
Oh
and
yeah.
where I just have to, because people will look at it and say, "Oh, that's a squash," or "That's a squash." No, it's not a squash because I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Oh,
Yeah, it could be like y'all said, it could be a raccoon, it could be an owl, but I'm not 100% sure what it is.
I tell
But
you
that
what,
but that
I
arm photo,
definitely, huh?
that baffles me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, like even my own trail cameras, when I pick them up, I look forward to getting them home and going through every photo. And like one of my trail cameras, I have them set on video mode. The other one set on photo mode. But even in the video, like I was looking through some old video camera trail cam photos from a year or two ago, and you could see the deer move through them. And then of course, you got a deer that happens to be in the background, but the first thing you notice, oh, cool, look at there's eye shine right there. But then you watch in the video, oh, it's just a deer.
Yeah,
But it's still cool. It's mysterious. You never know. I mean, but yeah, I always find it very entertaining myself to examine my own photos. Because like you said, you just never know. You might capture something that you would never expect.
exactly.
So, hmm. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. All right. Someone on the live chat was talking about Argo. Lee Johnson said, "How does Argo fit into the Bigfoot world? Is he good or bad without these blogs cutting him to be a monster or creature?" Now, Nikki had asked, what's Argo?" I said, "Who or what Argo is?" And that same person replied, "I do believe it's the big guy's name." Okay. I mean, I guess
The
referring
big
to
guy's
Bigfoot.
name. If you're talking about a Bigfoot named Argo, where'd you get that from, Johnson? Because I thought his Bigfoot was called Clantu or Zork or Zorka or something like that.
Daniel, I found
Yeah.
that photo, and I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
One of what might be a forehead or something.
yeah, but it's going to be angle.
Okay. Go ahead, send it to me. I'll reposition it then. I have that ability on I have an app on my phone. I'll fix it.
And this one here, don't know what it is. You should have it already.
Okay, yeah, you sent it through Messenger. Oh, that one. That
Yeah.
one.
So, Nick, you tell me what you think this thing is because this is the
What?
same area that the arm was taken care. The arm was taken, and don't know what it is. I've never seen anything like this before. You tell me what you think.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me save the image. Um, all right.
Lee, are you talking about me or what Daniel saw on Porch Talk?
Just a regular this photo that Daniel's gonna put up.
Okay, okay, let me see.
Because me personally, I don't know what it is. Uh, it's the same area that the arm photo was taken. Um, like I said, I don't know what it is. So I had to debunk it because I don't know what it is. So
All right, I have it rotated where you. It's I guess the way it was taken. Yeah, I don't. Almost looks like smoke.
Well, let me see. I can't see it.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
I mean, I have photos like this sent to me all the time, and I don't know how to. I look at them and I study them and I send some pictures to people, asking them what you think, and there you go. Now I just rotate a little bit like that. It looked like little eye sockets. There you go. Now that one's not taken too well because I actually got it from a uh, from her picture that she actually got it from the computer, but you could actually see like a
Well, you can
forehead. You can see like eye sockets and stuff.
you can see like hair for sure, but very
Right.
fuzzy hair.
Hmm.
Huh.
I can't make out the timestamp. Was this at nighttime?
Yes, it
27
was. It's at
September.
night.
Hmm.
Oh, this was. Oh, huh.
So I'm trying to get her to send me a photo actually from her computer instead of this because you can actually see those lines up there. But you could ask, but here's something that I have never seen before, or it could be, you can see some eye sockets, you can see a little bit of hair, but I don't know what that is. It could be a possum, it could be, I just don't know. But that was the same place that the arm was taking a photo of. But that's the only strange thing that actually
So,
came out of the trail cam.
so that's the same trail cam and everything.
Yes, ma'am. So
Wow.
exactly where the arm came from, and then this came from there. And so she leaves so she does the feeder, and then so every single month she'll go over there and check out her cameras and checking out for deer and things like that. She saw these two images there. She said, "Man, this is kind of odd." So then I got contacted because with the Bigfoot research I do in B County, and this is actually in B County. So it's maybe from downtown is maybe like from this photo here, maybe like around a mile and a half to 2 miles.
Hmm.
So, but like
That's
I said, I don't
so.
know I don't know what it is.
It definitely just got me baffled. It's very mysterious.
Yeah, it definitely. It kind of rules out the whole squirrel thing too, because now the hair doesn't appear to be long enough.
Yeah,
Huh.
Hmm.
That's crazy. That's
yeah. See, the thing is, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. Nikki, and photos like this come along, and I'm looking at it, and then I have to debunk it because I don't know what it is, or
we don't know what it is. No,
yeah.
I couldn't tell you either. That's a very this is what keeps me going is seeing stuff like this.
Hmm.
What is that thing? I want to know.
Right.
And that's interesting. It is interesting. And now you have two suspicious things from the same
Camera. Correct.
camera.
Now, also too was a man actually saw Bigfoot 50 yards away in Toledo, Texas. And till this day, he does not have not been into his ranch because of what he saw.
Wow.
Yeah.
She needs to set up a camera facing that thing.
Hey,
Hmm.
I just thought about something, and
Oh,
think about this very carefully. Now, all right. First of all, Baltimore. Whose camera was this?
This is a older lady, and she said she is just an older lady. and
Okay.
all she has some 14 acres of land, and real humble lady. Um, so her husband is her husband's not well, and so all she has is some goats and a feeder and this camera.
All right. It- to me, you know how I mentioned earlier, this looks like smoke.
Hmm.
Well, coming from somebody such as myself that's a former smoker, which I've been well over a year, I haven't smoked. But you see when my mouse cursor is right here?
Right,
Yeah.
See how right here is so tight together and it spreads out up here?
right.
What if somebody's blowing cigarette smoke or something out of their mouth, which is closer together and it's coming up in front of the camera?
Okay,
That could be.
because what gets me was when I actually have this photo in my hand, you could actually see eyelashes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And then and smoke Daniel is one thing that I thought of. That's what I thought of. But
Yeah.
if you actually see, there's some areas that you can actually see little pieces of hair sticking out of it. So when I actually had those photos in my hand, you could actually see a little bit of eyelash through it, and that's what threw the whole thing off. And but what I'll do is I'll ask her if she could send me photos through my Facebook page or my email, or maybe I could find a way for me to email them to you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because smoke is the very first thing that I thought of, but once I looked at it and saw the little eyelashes pretty close to, I don't know if you can see my mouse moving. You could actually see an eye socket, something that resembles an eye socket to your left hand side. Excuse me, to the right hand side, and then you can see some little hairs sticking out of it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, tell you what, guys. I know it's getting a little late. Do you guys have anything else you want to throw out there as far as anything that may have been part of the discussion or talk tonight?
Well, I still want to know what that guy was talking about, Argo or whatever.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the live chat and I don't know. I'm trying to keep up with everything here. He says, "Does the big guy have anything to with the silver? What has anything to do with the Silver City? Just curious. I don't know what that's referring to. Then he also goes on, and the big guy. He said, and the big guy built like an army tank, ungodly huge and scary as hell. I'm I'm not really sure. Hey, you guys are saying hi to Vic. Who's Vic?
V- uh, Vic
Vic.
Gutierrez from he's Bigfoot Weekly. He's the owner of the group.
Oh, I don't see him
We
on here.
we started the group together all those years ago.
Oh, okay.
He used to have his own podcast where he used to do Bigfoot Weekly, and he used to run down the news of the week in regards to the Bigfoot community.
Oh, I see. Okay, Bigfoot Weekly. I'm looking for a guy's name
Yeah.
by the name of Vic on here, and I said, oh, okay, here
Oh
it is.
no,
Yeah,
yeah, Bigfoot Weekly. Yeah, and
gotcha.
but I hadn't seen him on in quite a while. Nice to see you
Yeah,
on. Um, but I run the group for him and stuff like that. I convinced him to make a Facebook page, Facebook group when he kind of got away from doing the podcast. So
yeah.
uh, I thought we had really good group of people who used to watch him. So we created the group so everybody could come and watch.
Awesome. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. How about you, Baltimore? You want to share anything or throw any last words out there?
I think I've talked enough tonight, Daniel. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's nothing wrong with that, Baltimore. There's nothing wrong with that. Um,
Yeah.
but we love when people talk. And it shares puts a lot of information out there, and it
Yeah.
helps.
See, the thing is also too is I always tell people this all the time. Um, you know, um, it's always good to put stuff on the paper the stuff that we do, or just get people start writing about the encounters of Bigfoot, around the area,
Yeah.
and so that would give other people confidence and the courage to come up there to talk to us about their experiences that they had. Because I can't even tell you how many times I would go to Walmart and somebody would tell me, Mr. Galvan, I'm real glad that you wrote the story about Bigfoot because this is what happened to me. Just don't tell my name or whatever. You could talk about my experience that I had, just don't mention my name. And
Right.
the experiences happened like 10, 15, 20 years ago. And so that's the kind of information that we need, for us to have a timeline and exactly where they saw it. And like that, we could know exactly how these creatures travel. And so you put him in a little pig. Okay, he was here this year. He was there last year. All right, maybe we could talk to some other landowners that they actually have encountered with that. So that's
Oh
why it's
yeah.
important to talk to the old timers and who've actually seen them like that. We can actually document and tell their stories because the more stories that come out, the more stories that we can make sure that this creature really does exist.
Right. Absolutely. And and I'm hoping for an outcome, a nice turnout this coming weekend. Because right here in Virginia, for those who have not heard, this Saturday, October 6th, Waynesboro, Virginia, at the Waynesboro Public Library, from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. I'll be holding a Bigfoot seminar. I'll be introducing myself and who I am and what I've been involved with, and talk about some of my research, through one of my PowerPoints. And I'll be doing a Q&A session in person. I'll be answering to the best of my ability, and I hope everybody comes out there that may have experienced something or seen something. I don't want you guys to be shy. If you're in the area or surrounding area, you don't have to be from Virginia. You could be from North Carolina. Our last two events, we've had people from out of state show up. We had Pennsylvania, and people from. I had one person from North Carolina show up, and a couple of locals. That was awesome. You don't have to be from Virginia to participate. To come to attend. It's from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So if you have some information, I'm going to get through that towards the later part of the seminar. I'll be doing a Q&A, like I mentioned. And when we're done, anyone that wants to go out, weather permitting, we will go out to the woods. You can follow me out. We'll do some exploring. And, I'll show you some areas where I have actually found tracks, where I've actually experienced things in the past. Right now, a lot of the forests here in Virginia in various areas are a little wet and flooded in some areas because we've been getting a lot of rain here, apart from Hurricane Florence that passed through here a week ago. But yeah, we've getting separate rain on top of that. Um, so yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good time. We want you to come out again. That's in Waynesboro, Virginia, at the Waynesboro Public Library. It's downstairs. So, um, come on out, meet yours truly, and then we'll go from there. So, and since Nikki lost her internet again, I'm sure she would say goodnight to everybody. And we're about to jump off here. So thank you guys for everybody that tuned in tonight to listen. And thank you guys for all the interaction. Um, and if you have not done so, if you're not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel and share it around. It's very much appreciated. So, Nikki, we're about to jump off here.
I
So,
know. I just got back on.
I do apologize, but
No,
while
it's
it's
okay.
somewhat semi earlier, I'm gonna go try to watch something with my daughter. She can't be staying up too late. She's got her work in the morning, and I got to get up and take her to work. So, so I start Monday. So yeah, because I got my daytime job now. I get to start. I'll be starting evenings at McDonald's here Monday.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was told I'll be working the grill. So yeah.
Huh.
So that should be
Fun.
interesting. Yeah, I've done fast food years ago, so
Uh-huh.
it'll be pretty cool. So
What are you
uh,
picking up? Like 4 hours a night or what?
it's supposed to be 4 to 11, or about 11, 11:30, I think they said. So yeah, that's
Oh,
not too
wow.
bad because by the time I go to bed, it's almost midnight when I get to bed anyway. It's only McDonald's is only half a mile up the road from me, so you know. So
Uh-huh.
right off the interstate. So yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully
So
it
you're
won't
going to
be
be
too bad.
doing that every night or just
Hopefully not every
every
night.
other?
I don't know what my schedule looks
Dang.
like. So yeah, and I told the manager, I said, if you schedule me on Saturday, on the weekends, make sure it's the same as my daughter. That way we can both go there. I'm not trying to ride back and forth several times a day. So yeah,
Right.
that would not work out too well. So, but we'll see how it
Okay.
goes. Yeah. But meanwhile, thank you again, Baltimore. Thank you, Nikki. And again, thank you for everybody that tuned in tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's discussion and think about what we talked about. A lot of good points and opinions. So this is Daniel Benoit, and I'm out.